More than a few commentators thought Toronto Raptors president Masai Ujiri had lost his touch, or maybe his mind, when they found out he used the fourth pick of the 2021 NBA draft on Florida State freshman Scottie Barnes. Looking younger than his 20 years with his big eyes and bigger smile, he was an unproven prospect. As a freshman at Florida State, he showed promise, but not the kind of polish that gets you selected near the top of a competitive draft class. But as often been the case, it was Ujiri who got the last laugh. Though the year's rookie crop mostly lived up to expectations, Barnes came on strong and took home the Rookie of the Year trophy for the 2021-2022 NBA season. Stick around as we take a look at 5 key points about Barnes' NBA journey, where he's come from, and where he could be headed as a sophomore. Number 5. The Raptors saw past the box score. One look at the stats from Scottie Barnes' year at Florida State, and you'll understand why his selection so high in last year's draft took many people by surprise.
Scottie Barnes from Florida State University. Wow.
Look at that.
Unlike some unheralded, or at least under-heralded players, Barnes got reasonable minutes and a substantial role in college, but the results didn't look amazing. In 26 minutes, he averaged just a little over 10 points per game and didn't exactly fill up the rest of the box score. Much worse, his three-point shooting was atrocious, with less than 27% of his outside shots going in the hoop, even with the shorter distance to the college three-point line. But looking beyond those simple stats, you can see hints of what he's already become in the NBA. That's what Ujiri and the Raptors did. Barnes had a huge positive impact when on the court. Florida State was almost 8 points per 100 possessions better with him than when he sat. Despite his three-point woes, he was an efficient scorer and he rebounded and set up teammates well within the opportunities that he was given. Most importantly, his combination of size and athleticism with a fantastic defensive IQ and a motor that just don't quit made Barnes a gifted defensive wing in college. And a rarity for the NBA, that defensive excellence has translated directly to the pros. Even most of the best rookies, even those who go on to be great defenders in their NBA careers, struggle to put up positive defensive numbers in their first year, which is especially true on a team like Toronto, which came into the season with an established core of defensively minded wings. But nonetheless, that's exactly what Scottie Barnes did. Right from the jump, he was able to make things tough on opposing scorers, and he got better at it as the year went on. He wasn't the best defensive rookie last year. That honor went to his chief Rookie of the Year competitor, Cleveland's Evan Mobley, but he was a very good one. Number 4, his offense was better than advertised. If he wasn't the best defensive rookie though, then defense alone couldn't have won him Rookie of the Year. That happened because in addition to rapidly translating his defense skills to the pros, Scottie Barnes proved to be a far better offensive player than expected. The NBA rewards athleticism and creativity, and he has plenty of both, so perhaps it's no surprise that he was able to raise his scoring numbers despite facing stiffer defenses. What did come as a surprise was that between improving his shooting mechanics and feasting off dimes from Fed VanVleet and the rest of the Raptors, Barnes was able to improve as a three-point shooter. In his rookie season, he shot 32% from NBA distance. And that's not going to get him the three-point contest, but it is going to keep defenders honest. They'd really rather not be, because Barnes has demonstrated that he can already blow past them on a drive if they aren't quick enough to keep up with him, or muscle them out of his way if they aren't strong enough to. Or he can pass the ball to an open teammate, as he's proven to be both a capable and willing passer. Number 3, he's played a lot and hasn't missed a beat. He had the opportunity to do a whole lot of the above. Early in the season, Raptors coach Nick Nurse recognized he had something special in Scottie Barnes, and when Nurse likes what he sees, that player is going to put in time. Barnes was 9th in the NBA in minutes per game, and 2 of his teammates were ahead of him on that list. Point guard and first-time All-Star VanVleet and Raptors star Pascal Siakam, who led the entire league in minutes. Now that is a ton to ask of any player, and it might be a bit too much to ask of the player since the Raptors occasionally look gassed by the time the playoffs rolled around, but it's especially hard on a rookie. For reference, Barnes played more than 10 more minutes per game, 35.4, than he did in college, 24.8. He did it in 74 games compared to just 24. Now on the one hand, those extended minutes may have helped sway Rookie of the Year voters who didn't look beyond the per game box scores. On the other, they represent the kind of jump in workload that has left more than a few NBA rookies stretched past the breaking point by the end of the season. Scottie Barnes never looked close to breaking. Most of the time, he didn't even look tired.
Banton once again defensively. Running the floor.
Number 2, nobody is sleeping on him now. That surprise when Barnes went number 4 last year? That doubt about his ceiling? Well, you can kiss it goodbye, not just in Toronto, but around the league. When Kevin Durant requested a trade out of Brooklyn this summer, the Raptors were one of the teams rumored to be heavily involved in the talks to land the former MVP. The sticking point? Brooklyn wanted Scottie Barnes. Toronto wasn't willing to part with him. Both that Barnes could be considered the centerpiece of a Durant package and that he could be considered too valuable to give up in one demonstrate just how far his star has risen in his first season in the NBA. Number 1, his numbers are subtle, but subtly impressive. So in case you're wondering, how did Durant compare when he started out? Well, after all, he did win Rookie of the Year in his own right, so far back that it was on the long-gone Seattle Supersonics. He scored more than Barnes since that was his role, crossing the 20 points per game line in similar minutes. But Barnes did it far more efficiently with an effective field goal percentage over 52%, compared to just 45% for rookie Durant. Barnes pulled in more rebounds and dished out more dimes. He had fewer turnovers and grabbed more steals. Like most rookies, Durant was a net minus on defense in his first year. Despite improving dramatically in the second year, it still took him until his third to become a plus in this column. Well, like we mentioned before, Barnes has already been a positive on the defensive end. Now, none of that is to say that Scottie Barnes will end up with a better career than one of the best scorers to ever play the game, nor is it much of a knock on Durant, even rookie Durant. The league in 2008 was just a drastically less efficient place overall. Both rule changes and a growing understanding of shot selection have made today's offenses far more scintillating. Barnes has, in part, been lifted by that rising tide. Of course, it's also in the face of those offense-favoring rules that he's managed to establish a defensive identity. The more you delve into his advanced numbers, the better he looks. According to basketballreference.com, Barnes has had the most win shares per 48 minutes of any rookie of the year since Ben Simmons. Yes, even more than Luka Doncic. He also beats out Mobley in this category. Going by total win shares, Barnes looks even better because of his high minutes played. He doesn't fare quite as well at every catch-all metric. Playing all those minutes with skilled backups at his position may have muted his potential. Box plus minus, although he does beat out Ja Morant in that category, and value over replacement player, he again beats Morant as well as LaMelo Ball, but can't measure up to the already all-star level numbers of Doncic and Simmons opened their careers with. So Toronto clearly believes that Barnes can be not just a star, which seems all but guaranteed at this point, but a superstar.
No, man, he deserved it. No disrespect to the other guys. A lot of guys had good years, but he was the most complete rookie. And, man, just to see the joy his teammates have for him and the emotion he just showed, it's awesome.
Whether he lives up to those lofty expectations or not remains to be seen, but NBA execs haven't exactly profited from betting against Ujiri. So what are your expectations for Scottie Barnes? Was he your Rookie of the Year pick last year, or did you favor another candidate from that crowded class? Let us know in the comments below, and while you are there, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and then ring that bell to be notified of more NBA info.